In his endless search for immortality, Seath had channelers snatch suitable human specimen off the streets and bring them into the archives, so he could conduct experiments on the poor souls in pursuit of eternal life. Pisacas can be found in the prison of the archives, performing what seems to be a ritual of some kind. Perhaps they're trying to communicate with one another, or maybe they're performing a rite to honor the dead firekeeper whose corpse can be found in a neighboring cell. The Pisacas didn't always look the way they do. These creatures were at one time maidens who through Seath experiments have been transformed into squid-like minions with jellyfish heads. Why would Seath bother creating sea monsters which aren't as effective as his guards and seemingly serve little purpose in his research for immortality? Especially since the dragon scales and the primordial crystals are rumored to be the source of eternal life? Well, Seath is a scientist ahead of his time, you see. Turridopsidorni, the immortal jellyfish, is a species of small, biologically immortal jellyfish found in the Mediterranean Sea and the waters of Japan. It is one of the known cases of animals capable of reverting completely to a sexually immature colonial stage after having reached sexual maturity as a solitary individual. The immortal jellyfish was discovered in 1883, but its regenerative factor was only noticed in the mid-90s. Suppose that during one of his trials, while experimenting on seafood, Seath realized that the jellyfish he studied were immortal. He then tried to splice human and jellyfish DNA to create a whole new creature, the Pisaca. Judging by the tentacles, he may have blended some Cthulhu DNA in there as well. Perhaps Pisacas were an attempt at harvesting immortality, which ultimately failed, driving Seath to rely completely on the primordial crystal he stole from the dragons.
You must know that Seath is a true undead, different from ourselves. His wounds close promptly, and no mortal blow affects him, granting true insulation from death. It is an effect of the primordial crystal, a sacred treasure pillaged by Seath when he turned upon the ancient dragons. So only by destroying the primordial crystal can you so much as scratch his hide.
On an unrelated note, making this lore made me think of Bloodborne. So if you haven't played it yet, I would recommend not listening to what I'm about to say because I would not want to spoil anything for you. So I bid you farewell, DS lore hunters. Thanks so much for all the kind words, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Now, on to Bloodborne stuff. Do you know what the jellyfish make me think of? I'm sure you know, and I'm sure you thought the same thing. Makes me think of the celestial emissaries and the living failures. And yes, some of the celestial emissaries can be found performing their own dance or ritual in Yusefka's clinic. Also, the emissaries that have tentacles coming out of their heads are especially reminiscent of jellyfish. Anyway, I think my next Bloodborne lore video is going to be about the celestial guys. Well, that's about it. Thanks so much for all the encouragement, and I'll see you later. Bye! Les Pisacas se trouvent dans la prison aux archives de Seath. Elles semblent exécuter un rituel. Peut-être elles essayent de communiquer entre elles, ou peut-être elles exécutent une cérémonie en honneur de la gardienne de feu morte dont le cadavre peut être trouvé dans la cellule voisine. Les Pisacas n'étaient pas toujours des créatures bleues. Elles étaient suivantes de Guinevere, qui ont été transformées en calmars avec des têtes de méduses, suite à de nombreuses expériences menées par Seath. Pourquoi Seath perdrait-il son temps à créer de monstres marins qui ne sont même pas aussi efficaces que ses gardes? En plus, les Pisacas ne semblent rien voir avec l'immortalité. puisque les écailles de dragon et leur cristal primordial sont supposés d'être les sources de la vie éternelle. Voyez-vous, Seath a été bien en avance sur son temps. Turridopsidorni, la méduse immortelle, se trouve dans la Méditerranée et dans les eaux du Japon. Cette méduse est reconnue pour sa capacité à rajeunir en revenant au stade de polype à partir du stade adulte de méduse, ce qui la rend théoriquement immortelle. La méduse immortelle a été découverte en 1883, mais sa capacité magique à rajeunir n'a été remarquée qu'au milieu des années 90. Considérons qu'au cours d'une de ses expériences sur les fruits de mer, Seath s'est rendu compte que les méduses qu'il étudiait étaient immortelles. Il a ensuite tenté de combiner l'ADN des humains et des méduses pour créer une toute nouvelle créature. À en juger par les tentacules, on dirait qu'il a peut-être aussi ajouté de l'ADN de Cthulhu dans le mélange. Peut-être tout ça était une tentative de récolter l'immortalité qui a malheureusement échoué, forçant Seath de se fier entièrement sur le cristal primordial qu'il a volé au dragon.
You must know that Seath is a true undead, different from ourselves. His wounds close promptly, and no mortal blow affects him, granting true insulation from death. It is an effect of the primordial crystal, a sacred treasure pillaged by Seath when he turned upon the ancient dragons. So only by destroying the primordial crystal can you so much as scratch his hide.
J'aimerais dire merci beaucoup pour tous les aimables commentaires et j'espère que vous avez aimé cette vidéo. À la prochaine. Bye!